Good evening, my Insta family. Good evening, all of you, all my followers. A very warm welcome to another live of Let's Uncork with Lovely Gupta. So, yeah, I can see a number of followers joining in. Let some more people pour in so that we can actually start with our live. Please ping me here if I'm audible, if I'm clearly visible to you all, because I am really having a bad time regarding lighting of my house. It's being renovated. So just let me know if I'm audible and am I clearly visible to you all. हाय प्रिंस 501 यहाँ फॉलो करना मना है. हाय अंशी सिंगल, माय गेस्ट इज ऑलरेडी इन. हाय शालिनी जायसवाल 89. So yeah, good evening all you my lovely people out there, and it's already 6 and by now you must be knowing who is my guest this evening. The very beautiful, the very graceful, our very first Femina Miss India, and that too of 1964, Meher ma'am. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry guys, I told you I have a very bad setting today. Am I audible? Please ping me guys if I'm audible. I'm actually using a thermocol to balance my lightning. I'll just send a request to ma'am, and yeah, ma'am will join me as soon as possible. Ma'am Meher, if you can, yeah, here she is. Ma'am, I think you need to flip the camera. So, you know, it really takes a hard time to actually set up the studio, a mini studio at your place, and actually balance the lighting, the camera, the angle, and then you actually go to live. So basically it takes at least an hour to set everything up. It's not an easy job guys, it's not at all. So I've already sent a request to Ma'am Meher, and she'll be joining in as soon as possible. Ma'am, please join in. I'm sending you again another request.
I'm not getting my picture in, lovely.
Ma'am, I think you need to flip the camera, ma'am. Ma'am, all you need is to flip your camera, ma'am. We can see a beautiful flower pot.
I know, I can see the flowers, but what do I do with the...
Ma'am, you just need to click, you just need to flip your camera. Ma'am, if you can see a video sign of a camera on your screen, and then again there is an arrow, flipping arrow. Just click that, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, lovely. I'm so happy to see you and be with you. Thank you so
Ma'am,
much.
I am on the top of the world to meet you virtually, ma'am.
Yes, yes. I'm also very happy. Virtually, at least we can chat. And I must say that you're as lovely as your name.
Oh, really, ma'am? This compliment coming from you is really. Actually, I'm feeling like I'm really lovely, ma'am. So, ma'am, let's begin our Instagram live because I'm
Yes,
having a really hard time today. My
yes. I
home
can
is
see that
renovated
you
and
have
I'm.
some problems. Yes, yes, yes. So let's
Yes,
start.
ma'am. So, nevertheless, ma'am, the show must go on as
Yes,
always.
yes,
Ma'am, first Femina Miss India, that too in 1964. Ma'am,
yes.
in 2022, how do you look back, ma'am?
I think that it's been a wonderful journey for the contest itself, and it has grown by leaps and bounds from 64 to 22 is like a massive journey. The girls are beautiful. The girls are trained very well, and they know exactly what to do. Unlike me, who went in 64, and I was absolutely new to the concept of a contest because nobody had ever been selected from Femina to go for a international beauty contest, so they also were not too aware of what to do. But now, of course, everything is wonderful, and the girls are doing really well. We are getting the different international crowns, and I'm really happy about that. Yes,
Ma'am, how do you look back like exactly like it's been almost 60 years? It's
yes,
almost like
58,
1964
58,
to
yes, yes,
almost 60 years, may
yes.
58 years, 60 years. Ma'am, how much do you feel the definition of a pageant queen has changed over the years?
Well, a definition has definitely changed because, as you are aware, in 64, there were not many girls who took part, even though in my
Yes,
contest,
ma'am.
which was a photographic contest, 500 girls sent their pictures from all over India. So it was pretty, important for girls to take part in beauty contests. But now it has become a really beautiful stepping stone into the glamour world if they want to be in the glamour world, or in the film world if they want to be in the film world, as well as be in any career that they want to be. The title definitely opens doors for you, but it also depends on how you enter those doors and which doors you enter. So once you know that you want to go into a particular career, that door will definitely be open for you more, welcomingly.
Ma'am, if I like in 1964, I was not born even, ma'am.
Yes,
But recently, like if I look back 15 years or maybe 20 years or maybe since 2000, ma'am, most of the pageant queens have chosen the path of cinemas, theaters,
yes, yes,
ma'am. But when I read about you, you have a fantastic career. Like it is a
yes.
perfect combination of literary works plus glamour, ma'am. So how did it happen, ma'am?
Okay, so when we were selected, I in 64, 65, 66, it was considered not a very good thing to enter the films. In fact, it was
Exactly.
down upon if you became a movie star, except for 1965, Persis Kambata became a really big star in Hollywood. No beauty queen had taken, the Bollywood role till Zeenat Aman in 1970 became a big
Yes,
star.
ma'am.
So becoming a movie star was actually not on my agenda at all. I never wanted to be a movie star. I was more interested in something which was, to do with writing or designing, which I took up later on. And of course, fashion modeling, which I did soon after I won the contest.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, like literary works and glamour usually do not gel with each other. But Femina has been an integral part of your life, like
Yeah, yeah,
being the first Femina Miss India and then to literally writing for Femina.
yeah.
It's been, the journey must have been phenomenal for you, ma'am.
Yes, it was. Femina has been like a guiding, what would you say, a fairy godmother for me, and been there all the time. And I started my glamour life with Femina. So I obviously went into writing for Femina, doing fashion features, directing fashion features for the magazine. And then from there onwards, I went into writing. I had this little feeling at the back, lovely. which always made me think that people think that models are, and beauty queens are a little dumb, and they
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
have they don't have enough
Exactly
brain.
what I meant, ma'am, because they
Yeah.
do not gel
So,
with each other.
yes,
Writing and
so
glamour do not.
yes, so they think that, beauty queens are, and models also are a little dumb. They don't have any gray matter in it. So whenever a journalist would come and interview me when I was a model, I would be asking the journalist questions because I was so interested in their work that it ended up me being the journalist and they answering the questions. And from then onwards, I realized that I enjoyed writing quite a lot. And I enjoyed writing about fashion because that was
Yes,
my
ma'am.
subject. I've always loved fashion right from the time I was 7 years old. So, fashion has been a passion for me. So I have really enjoyed it. So I thought, why not write about something I know? And that's how I started writing about fashion. Yeah.
Ma'am, you have been considered as pioneer of fashion journalism. Like
Yeah.
these days, if we want to consult anything, we Google or we go to YouTube videos, ma'am. But back then, there were not so many resources,
No,
ma'am. So,
no.
is it your innate quality, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
like you actually followed some magazines or something like that? Because that time there were not so many magazines as well, ma'am.
Yes, I mean, it was extremely difficult, lovely, to even write articles because if I wanted to do research,
Exactly.
I would go to the libraries like the
Hmm.
USIS library or any of the museums where they have books to research, especially for my first book, Fashion Kaleidoscope. I had to sit in libraries for days making notes, and then there was no computer at that time, so I could just Google, and
Exactly.
all the information would be on my lap. But
And ma'am, that too handwritten, ma'am.
yes, and it was handwritten, yes. Though I had a typewriter, a manual typewriter, which I
Hmm.
used all the time. But all that spell check and everything was never there. I had to make sure my
Exactly.
spellings were
Ma'am, these
correct.
days, if we want to make notes,
Yes,
we actually speak on the phone and it gets,
yes,
written on the phone
yes,
itself.
yes, yes. So it was extremely difficult. And also the concept of fashion journalism was not there. I had to go with an article on fashion with photographs and go to the editors, convince them that there is something like, article on fashion. And very reluctantly, they would accept it. In fact, the first major publication, the mainline newspaper that took my article on fashion was Indian Express. And it was a very big thing because Indian Express is a very technical and political newspaper and a broadsheet also and on top of that. So for them to start something on fashion was very adventurous of them and it was wonderful for me also. So I had to go around to magazines, newspapers, and I had to I had to personally go there with the article typewritten, with the photographs, printed photographs, and give it to them. And it was a difficult time at that time. But now, of course, I sit at home, I type out, I have all the photographs online, I email to them. Half the people I've written for, I have never seen them also. And they just contact me online or by WhatsApp, and I give the article to them. So there is such a major change in the business of writing that people have realized how fast it is. It was not so fast before. Now it's speed and everything is in the speed. But even the writing has become very speedy. You don't write very big articles. You write small, to the point, concise pieces. Just like my book, you must have heard about it. My book, which is,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Fashion Musings. This is a book which has a Q&A format and Q&A is very short. And I've got responses from students, fashion students who have said that we don't read books at all, but we read your book because it was short and, to the point and very interesting. So even the concept of writing, long volumes on fashion, people don't have the time and the energy to read.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, we have become very impatient these days. Like these
Yes,
generation have become more,
yes,
all the more
yes,
impatient, ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, like you said, you had to convince the editors and all.
yes,
Ma'am, if we look back in 1964 or maybe in early 70s,
yes,
ma'am, the word fashion was not so much prominent because these days wearing Western clothes or maybe bit revealing clothes is bit normal, ma'am, these days,
Yes,
especially in
yes,
metropolitan cities. It
yes,
is normal. But back those days, we actually imagine a woman to be always in Indian clothes. Even
yes,
wearing salwar kameez for women was also a big question mark
yes,
after their marriages, ma'am.
yes.
So really, like, how difficult was it for you personally to convince the editor that these articles will actually go for a good sale?
Yes. As you so rightly said, that the fashion was not there too much. There were only two magazines at that time. One was Femina and one was Eve's Weekly, who wrote about fashion. The mainline newspapers like the Times of India, Indian Express, all the big papers had nothing to do with fashion. No, news about beauty queens or anything like that. But these two magazines did promote fashion. And when I used to give, I gave a lot of articles on Western fashion, Western wear. And that
Exactly,
was,
ma'am.
yes, so that was something that was interesting. In fact, now, even now, I have designers coming to me and saying, because you showed Western clothes, it encouraged me to become a designer. Or because you showed this, it encouraged me to learn fashion designing. So it felt good that I introduce things. Lovely. I like to introduce things to be the first. I don't like to follow people. I like to set a trend.
Ma'am, exactly. Like, it is difficult for me to imagine that how easily it is not easily for sure. But if I look back, it was such a difficult task at that time,
Yes,
because these days it is very normal. Even if our kids or next generation is wearing something ABC, or maybe some
yes,
dress totally out of our culture, it is very normal. But
yes,
back in those days, it is a big achievement for you. I
yes,
personally, it's my thought, it's a very big achievement to set a trend at that time, because
yes,
these
yes.
days we have innumerable resources, ma'am. If
Correct.
even I am writing a book, ma'am, so
Yes,
at the back of my mind it is there, if my publisher is not accepting my manuscript, I can put that in my own personal blog. I have that
yes,
option.
yes,
I
yes.
can do reels, I can make a YouTube video. But back
Correct.
then it was the
Yes. No.
resources were limited, the
Yes.
outcomes were totally limited. So it is, personally, ma'am, I would like to congratulate you that it is a
Thank
big
you.
achievement, and it is truly inspiration for girls like us to actually set our trend in our own respective careers, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so
Ma'am,
much,
so
lovely.
many, ma'am, so many awards recently. A couple of days back, also you got a wonderful
Yes.
recognition, ma'am.
Yes.
So how much it goes behind the scene, ma'am? We all know the glamorous Miss Meher, but how is the day in your life, ma'am? If I ask you what is your routine, day to day routine, what is it? It is exactly, ma'am.
Well, it's not very hectic because I'm quite an organized person, lovely. So I know exactly what are the deadlines. Like I was doing an interview with you today, and I
Yes,
had
ma'am.
planned out everything that today I will be getting up at this time, I will dress up at this time, I will wear this outfit, I will wear these accessories. So I plan out everything in advance, and I have. For this week, every day I have an event. So for every day, I have made a plan what I'll wear, what I'll say, what I'll do. So it's quite easy for me like that. So even in my articles, when I'm writing, my articles are planned out from the beginning. First of all, I decide on the opening line, the opening paragraph, the headline. Then I go into the body copy. Then I go into the end. I make sure that the opening and the end of all my articles are interesting and eye-catching. The body copy in the middle is the information. So that is the rule I follow. And when I
Ma'am, even I got one super point for my articles, ma'am.
yes, yes. So when I teach fashion journalism, I tell the students that they have to have a good hard opening paragraph and a good hard closing paragraph. Then what they write in the middle, it's like a sandwich. You have two slices of good bread and then you put whatever it is in the middle, and that makes a good sandwich. So that is the way I sort of prefer to do my work.
Fine, ma'am. Ma'am, coming to my next question, like I said earlier, like there are many resources. We have the ambitiousness have increased a lot in recent years among the girls, ma'am. Ma'am, but back then, don't you feel the ethics were more simpler? The ethics were more stronger than these recent years, ma'am?
Yes, actually, there was less competition, lovely. So there was not, no cutthroat thing of, dog eat dog, undercutting, say, giving wrong turnovers and things like that, or suggesting that you would charge less and things like. But now it is very very competitive. So people are it's a dog eat dog world now. In fact, modeling has become a little too competitive. Everybody, it's every second person from 6 to 60 is a model, and they're fighting for it. That is the thing.
Ma'am, recently we saw your phenomenal walk with Lara Datta, Sangeeta Bijlani, and
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
very,
Tanashri.
very honest, it's not because I'm interviewing you. It's
Yeah.
like even I showed it to my mother, I showed it to my father. Like you were just the cherry on of the cake, ma'am. You were actually the star of the evening, ma'am. So, like, ma'am, how do you manage that to even after almost 60 years? How do you manage to run the world, ma'am?
Thank you. Lovely. Your words are too kind. I think you're too kind to me. But
No,
it's
ma'am,
not.
it's not, ma'am. I'm being very genuine, ma'am, because, ma'am, to be very honest, ma'am, only after that I contacted you for an interview, ma'am,
Yes.
because I was talking to ma'am ma'am, Tanushri
Yes.
Datta, ma'am,
Yes.
and
I
then
think
when
fantastic.
I Yes, ma'am. So I just contacted you only after that walk. Unless and until till then, I had no clue about you, ma'am. And then I started about reading you about your
Yeah.
bio, and reading your bio was truly mind blowing, ma'am. Reading your bio was truly mind blowing. In fact, I have actually taken a printout and pin it on my study table, ma'am.
My God. No, no, lovely. It's a bit lengthy. In fact, I think I should cut it down a bit. Yeah.
No, ma'am. It's
Yeah.
totally worth it, ma'am. It's
Yeah.
totally
Thank
worth
you.
it, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
how do you maintain that grace, ma'am? How do you carry yourself with such a grace?
See, I have this one thought and motto, lovely, that you should always be very dignified in whatever you do. Whether you wear anything, you walk, you dress, you talk, you have to be dignified and elegant, no matter what your age is. Even if you're 20 years old or you are 80
Hmm.
years old, if you're dignified, then it adds to your charm and personality. So I I used to model. I modeled for 14 years, so I know. And but that day I came on the ramp after 4 decades, and it was good fun. I really enjoyed myself, and I love the music. I love the arc lights, and I love being on the ramp. So I think that was
Ma'am,
it.
just to interrupt you, ma'am, just to interrupt you, one of our viewers have written, it's such an honor to be a part of this live session. So it's totally the credit goes totally to you to join
Thank
us
you.
and you
Thank
actually
you.
sharing your views, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I, I haven't been able to
Ma'am, we
read
have
the
missed the name, I think, ma'am.
Miss Fernandez said something very complimentary, and I thank you very much for it. I'm so
Vivek
glad
Kapoor is
you've
saying,
joined.
love your energy, madam.
Thank you. Oh, Vivek, of course, I know Vivek very well. I've done
Okay.
a Instagram session with Vivek also. So
Okay.
I've known Vivek for years. He's a wonderful person. Thank you so much, Vivek, for joining in. Thank you.
So, ma'am, yes, coming to our question, how do you manage that dignity, that grace, ma'am?
I think you just have to uh, be put it into your personality, lovely. Don't. I always say, don't make a fool of yourself. Don't overdress. Don't underdress. Dress for the occasion. And my motto is when I'm teaching fashion, wear the right outfit at the right time in the right place so that you are well dressed at all times. If you're on the beach, definitely wear a swimsuit because that's what you're supposed to wear. If you're at a wedding, then wear beautiful lenga choli, saris, whatever you want, and dress beautifully. Wear all the jewelry you want. If you're going to work, then dress up for your job, whatever your job is. If you're working in an office, or you're in a PR company, then dress accordingly so that the clothes don't interfere with your work. So dressing up in the right place at the right time in the right outfit is very important.
Ma'am, my very last question, ma'am, what will be your message to the women who actually want to participate in these contests, and also to those women who maybe want to excel in some other fields but is, distracted or maybe bogged down because of some responsibilities? So, what will be your message to all those women out there?
I think you should pursue what you want with a passion. If you don't have a passion, then there is no point. I am even now. I'm 24/7. I read about fashion from by other writers from magazines. I keep track of what is happening in the fashion world and in the beauty world as well. And that is very important. Be in touch with the present. Don't worry
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the future. Don't worry about the past because that's over. Be in touch with the present and make sure that you present yourself in the best possible manner. If you fail, it doesn't matter. If you don't win the contest, it doesn't matter because you have bigger things to come. I've also had failures. When I started as a model, many of the magazines rejected me. Eve's Weekly rejected me and said they didn't want me even as to model inside the magazine. And then I was on the cover of Eve's Weekly 3 times afterwards. So don't be disappointed. Continue, push as much as you can, and you will definitely succeed.
Ma'am, thank you so much for joining my Instagram live and giving us so much valuable lessons and so much of morals from your own personal life. Ma'am, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, ma'am. So much thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
ma'am.
much, lovely. It was a great pleasure being with you virtually, and I'm looking forward to meeting you personally very soon. Thank you
Definitely,
so much.
ma'am. I'm coming
Thank
next week itself, ma'am. I'll
Okay,
definitely try to
lovely,
meet you, ma'am. Thank you
lovely.
so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
So here was the very graceful Ma'am Meher, and I must confess I'm totally in awe of Ma'am. And offline also, when I was talking to her, when I was messaging her, she was like on point. As she said that she is very much organized. Yes, guys, she is very much organized because the moment I have sent her message or mail, she is so quick to respond, so quick to reply back. Like I was actually inspired to be like her. I may not be like her, but actually I can take her valuable lessons for my upliftment, for my betterment. I'll meet you in my next live. Till then, keep watching my reels, my videos, and you can mail me at Let's Uncork with Lovely Gupta. Till then, take care and stay safe. Bye.